Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's August 10th, 2024. Yesterday, on August 9th, 2024, we had Tropical Storm Debbie come through, and I did post a very short video, me walking around. That's why I'm not wearing my hat. My hat is soaking wet still. But I walked around to check on the driveways, the driveway, some of the roads, all the spillways and all, and they all held up really, really well. So it's morning now, and I thought I'd just take a look around to see how the ponds are doing and all. They should all be full, basically. So we had just over 4 1/4 inches of rain dropped in about 2.5 hours in that period. So we got enough to fill everything up. I'm up here now by pond 1. This is the pond on the highest part of the property. Excuse me. Little peninsula there, it wraps around the other side. This is up next to the roadway here where the blue spruces are. So what we'll do is we'll take a little look. You can still see some of the little low spots around here. There's still some water that hasn't been completely absorbed. So this is the third food forest. This is all the trees that I started transplanting last fall and then this spring. I have a couple that don't look like they're making it, but just about everything's looking pretty good in there. The swale system that drains off of the road and it brings it up here to pond 1 it did very, very well. The amount of absorption in this, the first 60 feet of this area here wasn't great. It was okay. The rest of the area, the absorption of the soil, really nice, deep, rich soil, really absorbed the water very, very well. So no runoff over in there. A little bit of runoff here going into the swale and going into pond 1. We'll head down now to pond 2. Okay, so pond 2 is right in here. This filled up pretty darn quick because it wasn't that low at all, and it went through the spillway at the other side over there. We'll walk around there. See, the grass is still laying down from the streams of water coming down from pond 1 up there, and the third food forest. The rest of the swale, I won't go over there right now, but this is all the second food forest in this area here. And this swale system around here and spillway, these swale systems all worked fantastic. This one started overflowing, so it went down along the crown of the driveway. Here's pond 2 here. So this over here is all part of the second food forest. I still have a lot of rocks to pick up over here after doing all the transplants this season, this spring. So there's still a lot of rocks in here. We're going to be working on that hopefully before too long. Who knows? So this is a sediment collecting canal system, and recently I harvested the plants from this area here to bring down to the newly constructed pond down and back. So the whole soil's disrupted around here some, but the water came down off the road, down the driveway, filled into most of the spillways and worked its way into the ponds and into the food forest. But some of it overflowed the spillways, worked its way around, didn't get to the house, came right down into this spillway here, and into this sediment collecting canal system. And then it worked its way down through the rest of the sediment collecting canal system and then overflowed down there. We'll show you that in a minute or two. You can see the grass is still laying here where the spillway here from this dam worked out really, really well. And the water looks pretty darn clear. I don't know, you can see one of the goldfish right there. See a couple of them. So we'll go over to pond 8 first. That's the one I put in, around this time last year. Then we'll go down to the other side of the sediment collecting canal system. So here we go. So a few videos ago I talked about how I was taking some of the topsoil from the excavation site of the new pond system down and back, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes, and I deposited it up here and then spread it out. So that's where the soil is. I have more to do up here, and this is pond 8 up here right to the top. Now this one also drains pond 1. And so this is one I put in last year. I still have a lot of work to do around the marginal zones in here. And this drains some of the neighbors' property. So when they get a lot of excess water, comes into here. And then the spillways right over here, right over there, and works its way down into pond 3. So this all looks good. Trying to make sure that we are maintaining erosion control here, so we're minimizing the amount of soil loss, especially during these times where I'm doing so much earthworks and I've torn up a lot of the soil, the vegetation that's there. So we'll get on to pond 3 now. All pond 3 on the other side of the this one has an island. This is one of the spillways here. That looks good. So pond 3, so we're going to go over in a moment to where the sediment collecting canal attaches to the bioremediation canal systems and to pond 3. Well, the water came so high, it started breaching the walls of pond 3 here, worked its way across, and right down here is where it went into the spillway down there. Really good, no erosion here. Pretty happy with that. Garden beds, of course, they're permanent raised beds, were fantastic during the process. This whole area here was flooded. Water was coming up, excuse me, around the block work there. And you'd see there's these different contours going into the bioremediation canal system here. For all that water going through there, the water looks actually pretty darn clean. Really, really nice. And this is the other side. So this was all underwater when I'm going through. We had a couple foot of water right here yesterday. And this is the other side of the sediment collecting canal system that takes all the water from excess from pond 1 and pond 2. Excuse me about my voice here. Takes the water that runs off of the driveway up there, and there's no erosion to the driveway, works its way down around into this sediment collecting canal system that wraps around the building here to keep water from going to the house and all. Spills over here, and you can see how clear the water looks. Really nice how this system works. And so the sediment tends to drop off, and we collect that every few years at the base of this sediment collecting canal system. And then the water rushed over here into the bioremediation canal system here, filled up pond 3, exceeded the flow rate of the culvert that goes underneath. Well, there is a little bit. You can see some of this was eroded some, but almost, yeah, it's almost undetectable. And over here, well, we've got a small amount of water running right now. It's beautiful. This is the other side of the bioremediation canal system that goes into pond 4 right over there. And I'll do an update on the gardens here pretty soon to show you the gardens, how well they're faring. Pretty happy with, because several years ago we had about 4 inches of rain in an hour and a half, I think it was, and I had I had a lot of erosion in the driveway, which I had to do some repairs up there. And I had to reshape some of the areas right down around in here. And we haven't had another big rain since that one. And it appears to have worked out pretty well. This is pond 4 over here. The water level was real high in here. And that drains in. I showed that in the video, a brief part of it, going into pond 5 over here. So at the top of the property, way up in that direction, is where we started off on pond 1, and the property slopes from the northeast, which is up there, to the southwest, which is down here. So we try to keep all the water on the property as much as possible, keep it from going over to the neighbors. So yesterday we had water coming down from the overflow from the driveway and from this whole eastern part of the property, and the water made its way down this swale, down around, and also fed into pond 5. And of course, all the properties, all the gardens and the buildings stayed nice and dry. Well, it didn't stay dry, but there was no flooding. I'll have to do an update pretty soon on the fig trees over there. So this whole swale system here was just completely full yesterday. So this is pond 5. So the water raced into here because now we're collecting water from all the upper areas up there, and making its way in and over there and through this spillway here. And it really worked out extremely well. This pond was pretty low. This is the leaky pond that I've been trying to work on and trying to seal gradually over the years. But it topped right off again. So now we'll follow the other spillway down to and swale down to pond 6. Spillway swale over there is there. Right there's a wasp nest in the tree there, so I'm not going to disturb them right now, get them all upset. They've had enough issues with the rainstorm. So this is all the first fruit forest. We're in the almond area over here. We've lost 2 of the almond trees. Well, one of them we stood back up and it's doing okay over there. I don't anticipate it's going to survive a couple of years. But we lost another big one over here, the last windstorm. All the swale system here. This is the water in this swale. So this is one of the areas where, like I mentioned, the high part of the property is up there, the northeast, and the water wants to go down southwest, so we keep capturing the water and moving it back to the east, and in a sense almost going uphill. Now let's look at the clarity of the water here. It actually looks pretty darn good for the amount of disturbance we've had. So pretty darn happy with that. And this is pond 6. Pond 6 is a big failure. This one does dry up every year, and I haven't gotten to fix that yet. Here's some more of the topsoil that I took from down to the new pond site, and some of the sand and root and some rock there that I'll be working on soon. This is a spillway for pond 6 right here. So as the water level rises, bring it down south down here. And this all feeds into pond 7. Pond 7 there's still a lot. I still have a lot of the plants to get started in here in pond 7. So this one has lots of sediment suspended as a result of the disturbance and all. But and I just had transplanted a lot of the marginal plants around the marginal zone when I was doing the other pond, the newest pond. So this is pond 7 here. Even though we saw pond 8 before we saw pond 3, this is pond 7. We're about to get to the area where there's probably is some significant erosion. So this is the spillway for pond 7 right here, and it works its way over here into this spillway, and this works into the forest over there, and then the forest just gradually drains down, going down to the large beaver pond, the upper beaver pond, the lower beaver pond, and now going down to the new section that I've been working on. So this is more of the topsoil that I harvested underneath these oaks and a couple of maples here. So now we'll see down here just how much rain came down here and eroded some of the roads here and all. Access roads going down in here that I've been working on. This is good, but I see some erosion here. Not bad. It's actually quite good. Glad I got those plants in there when I did. So that helped to hold back a lot of the sand and silt from going into the new excavation site. You could see the sand, you see how much it eroded these little channels here. But we expected that. You can really hear the water running down here. And the let's walk over here. So the water coming down from over here is a nice steady stream coming from the, this is coming from the spring-fed well up here, and of course some of the runoff that goes into the forest that I mentioned up above up there. Kind of nice little babbling brook down here. My tire track's working its way around. Whoops, I'm sinking in here. And then right here, going into the new pond system. Yeah, I'm really glad I got those plants in here when I did get them in here. And I may work my way back a little bit more to give myself a thicker margin in here now that I'm looking at this. And I'll probably bring down some wood chips after I straighten this up. So what we need is, we actually need these storms for me to see just how I want to modify the system. The peninsula looks good from what I could see here. There's no way I'm going out on it right now. So we'll go around to the other side. This is pretty firm because I did track this in some, but it did rip through as the water came down here. See, it did its erosion in here. but that's to be expected when you have bare soil. Same thing here. I'm glad I got that little buffer of the plants in there because a lot of the sand worked its way down in. So I'll have to go ahead and readjust these ones here. I can't remember where I had them over there or whatever, but it just totally dislodged this whole section right in here. And I'll get a drone shot of the pond system as it is right now, but sort of see just how much this one's emptying right here in this spillway. So this all looks good. This is the plant material I had planted in here, transplanted over here. And I'll be working over in this section over the next year and all. But this is the lower beaver pond here. You can see a lot of the rocks. This is all rocks and the stone walls I put in here. I'll be putting more in here as well. And little kits, the young beaver had built up a little bit of a dam here. And I widened out this road and planted some trees along here that came up from the sediment collecting canal system. We'll come up over here real quick. Yeah, there is some sinking over here where I put in some of the fill. This all looks good. This is the beaver crossing period area right here. This all looks good. We got some sink up here. I'll fix this. See some spots here. These are the times when you really see where your flaws are. This is one of the spillways. This is all fine. So this side had widened out as well. A beaver crossing right here. So this is all natural. So the upper beaver ponds up here, which is quite large, and so all the different perimeter places, it'll breach some of these areas, and it's just very passive water coming in. Of course, it's eroded the sand that I'd put in here and some of the places all along. But I'm pretty darn happy with 4.25 inches in a relatively, in just a couple hour period. That's really, I'm happy with it all. Really happy with the gardens and the driveway and all. But this is my first time coming down here to see how things look. Pretty happy with it. So we have our work cut out for us to get things straightened out here a bit, and just wanted to take you for a ride along the way as I took a look to see how things are this morning. So thumbs up, things look pretty good considering the amount of rain we got. A lot of people are in much worse shape. Controlling the water on the property, because the force of water is just tremendous. Wind and water, man, the power behind it is just amazing. So if you can pacify it along the way and control it, get it to go where you want it to go, where you can use it in the future, that's ideal. So that's it for today's video. I just thought I'd take you for a ride and see what I'd see, and I'm pretty happy. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and have a great day. Bye-bye now.